Say, kids, what time is it?
It's kind of like watching TV, but, in your car.
So, how rich is filthy rich?
FU money, right?
Yeah.
FU money? What would be FU money be nowadays? Not $1 million anymore. Yeah, I'd have to probably be $1 billion, right? Is that filthy? Or 500 million maybe?
That's pretty.
I don't know. Joe Rogan got 100 million. That's probably
You'd say that's
serious
filthy?
FU money.
That's
I think
filthy.
so.
That's filthy.
Yeah.
I don't think his money's filthy money though. He's a good dude, but other guys.
You only know what you hear. You don't know
He's
the
a good
guy.
dude. No,
How do
he's
you
a
know
good
that?
dude. He's a good
How do you
dude.
know that? He might
He's a good dude.
run over puppies or something for all you know. You don't know him
he's a good
personally.
dude. I listened to enough of his.
Yeah, and
podcasts.
that
He's a
tells
really
you
good
everything you
guy.
need to know about the guy. Come on
he's a
now.
good
Don't be
dude.
like that,
He's
Jay.
a good dude.
It is the dark side of the stream. Today we are discussing me, Mike the Intern, Joe Westen, Jay Stevens, the new documentary. I guess it's not that new. It's called Filthy Rich, Jeffrey Epstein on Netflix. This one was a tough one
Very
to watch,
topical
Jay.
for sure too right now.
Thanks a lot for making me watch this crap, especially
Well,
the father of a daughter. That was very tough. I had very many mental images of me strangling a wealthy businessman.
Well, you don't
and
have to.
standing
Somebody
over
already
him.
did.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody already did.
I'll
man.
tell you right now, you mess with my kids, I have no problem sitting in a jail cell for the rest of my life because I beat you to death. And that would be something that I would be happy doing. So, word of warning, if it ever comes to my kids, you better stay the hell away because I will end your life.
Mike's going hard in the paint
that.
this morning.
Understand it.
No kidding.
And the thing about this documentary that just blew my mind is, I mean, yeah, the guy was filthy rich. He had connections. And we'll get into all that here in a little bit. But early on, I mean, out of the gate, episode 1, you could see the guy was being protected. Like, protected by law enforcement and politicians.
By a high level.
How the hell?
And nobody's sure how he got all this money. Like, and properties.
It's obvious. And we'll get into that too, because it's obvious.
And all these guys flying on his plane.
Clear as day in episode 2 how he got his money. We'll get into that in a little bit. But back to what I was saying. You got these guys in law enforcement. You got these guys that are politicians. You got on one hand the guys that are actually trying to serve justice, but on the other hand, you got these guys that are protecting him. My question is, how, as a human being, A, or B, the father of a child that's dealing with this, I don't care how much money you offered me to keep my mouth shut, nothing would be good enough to stop me from going after this guy.
But there's so many people out there that are able to justify money over their morals.
That's insane to me.
I know, but that's your way of looking at it. It's my way of looking at it. I'm sure it's Jay's way of looking at it. But I think that there's a lot of people out there who'll go, if somebody gave me $1 million to do this, I would do it, and I could live with it because I'm taking care of my family, and that's all that's really important. I know. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
It's insane. And that's how this thing was able to, you're right. That's how this thing was able to go on.
Even after it got exposed, and it just still went on and
People
got brushed under the rug.
They started going after him in 2005.
I know, man. That's why I told you to watch it, bro. That's why I told you, man.
And had mounds of evidence against him in 2005. Mounds of evidence. And it just went away. And then again, it came back. And then the first time, it was a slap in the wrist.
Shows you,
One
man,
count.
Corruption, and money.
Dear Lord, it was so hard to watch.
Money, and greed.
I was so angry. I was so angry through the whole thing. I couldn't.
Man.
I usually, when we do these things,
be more angry.
I binge watch them.
She's in the jail cell right now. Hopefully, she doesn't disappear. Yeah, she's Ghislaine or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, we'll get into her too.
Yeah.
I could not binge watch.
And
this
he was
one.
just so connected to so many high up people.
Yeah, and we'll get into his life and kind of how he got his start next in this very difficult dark
Epstein,
side of the
did he
stream.
kill himself?
Huh?
No.
Hell no, he didn't kill himself. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know.
No, he didn't.
That's like everybody knows that. And like the camera's
agreed.
off, so how can it still be like a thing that they say, oh no, he killed himself?
Because people will look the other way
Gosh,
for money
guys.
and go beyond their morals. And that is the system we're living in, and that is what is wrong with the system. We'll get to more next Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Joe Westen, Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern. We are discussing the filthy, rich, screwed up system we live in the United States of America.
Epstein, yeah. Dark Side of the Stream. Real Dark Side of the Stream today, right?
Very dark side of the stream today. Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein is just a product of the system of this country right now, that someone could literally, because he came from nothing. It wasn't like he was a trust fund baby or anything like that. He didn't have a lot. He got what he got.
Faked his way through for a little while, and
but do you think that's a result of the way the system is?
Yeah, the system's very based on greed and money. And I mean, just look at the whole healthcare system,
Same. Yeah.
Same thing.
Screwed up. It's screwed up that someone like this can exist in this country and that could do this for that long.
And roll with all these high ups, man.
Everybody.
From Bill Clinton to Donald Trump to everybody. There's pictures with him partying with all these people flying on his plane.
Make no mistake, we try not to get political here in the cave. It's not our job to tell you how to believe or what to believe. But I'll tell you right now, before you start saying that this guy was sided with one.
No, he was with both sides.
He was not sided with either one. Democrats or Republicans. He was friends with liberals and conservatives, liberal actors, conservative actors, producers, politicians, kings, princes.
Just like the Weinstein type thing, the Harvey Weinstein type thing, He
was aligned with everyone on both sides.
How do these guys get away with this crazy stuff?
When he first got arrested.
Money.
Money. It goes back to money.
Yeah, it always goes back to money. You can get away with
trace the money.
You can get away with almost anything if you have a lot of money.
Trace the money. I guess before we get into when he was arrested for the last time, what you said about how he got his money. So he lied about it. He started out as a teacher at a really elite school. And then he lied about his education. He actually never even went to college. I think he went for a year.
He was really good.
Lied about that.
BSer and manipulator.
They said he was a great teacher, but then eventually he did something. He got fired from the school, probably diddling kids because that's kind of his MO. Allegedly, don't try and sue us. And then he gets a job on Wall Street. But then the guy that hired him and then found out he had lied about his education, you could see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
He regretted doing that because he said that he was going to let him go, but the higher up said, hey, just, treat him like everyone else. And that's how he got his start. Now, that's not how he made his money. He made his money hooking up with the guy who started The Limited, the man who basically bought all those brands, Victoria's Secret, and controlled Abercrombie and Fitch and all that stuff. And somehow, all of a sudden, this no-name kid out of Wall Street starts managing this millionaire, arguably one of the richest people in the country at the time, starts managing his money.
Very weird,
to me, and then they go to the detective interview with Epstein. They say, are you bisexual? No. Did you have a relationship with this man? No. I think there was something going on there. I think that's how it started. I think he got got a little connected on the side with this dude, controlled him, and then used that money to make his money, which that's how it got started.
Or maybe he was like, a lot of time rich older dudes, they can't go out and score chicks. So maybe this guy's a good looking dude. Hey man, you want to have some chicks over here? I can get some girls over here. I can get hot girls. You go get, hey hot girls, you want to come party at this guy's house? He's old, but he's super rich. We'll have a good time. Girls do that in a heartbeat.
There have been fixers for a long time, and he was just a high profile fixer pimp guy.
With no background. Most of the fixers are lawyers. Most of them have to have a law degree so they understand what they're doing. This guy was able to do it without anything.
His way, man. Finagled his way to the top.
They call it the American dream, like coming to this country and getting something from nothing, right? Mm-hmm. This guy was the American nightmare.
Yeah, that's the good. That
would have been a good title
for the
American Nightmare
for the movie as well, right? Yeah.
Oh my God, it's just getting me hot. I got to take a break. We'll talk more Filthy Rich next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Dark Side of the Stream, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens, Joe Westen back in the studio discussing the documentary Filthy Rich.
Money.
We definitely come into that about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we've discussed how we think he got his money. Right now, probably as in like right now, people are still outside of Buckingham Palace protesting the fact that Prince Andrew is a free man.
Yeah, that was a shady story too, right?
Oh God, yeah. And the thing is, you've got accusers the thing that blew my mind about this whole thing was the pyramid scheme in which he operated. He'd start with one girl. That one would be obviously knew that this was wrong, but wanted the money. She'd recruit. There were some girls that were saying they recruited anywhere from like 30 to 40 different teenage girls from the Palm Beach area to this guy. Then they'd hook up with him. Then he'd traffic them out to politicians and royalty and musicians and rock stars and actors. And it's just like, I just can't understand what gets into the mind. I obviously, because I'm not that person, but it's like, we all know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
We're born, we know what's right and wrong. Now there's learned behavior and nature versus nurture and all that crap. But I maybe I'm just too much of an optimistic to believe that there is still some good in this world. But God, when you watch something like this, then you see the scope of something like this, and you see how much the guys in law enforcement, and God loved that detective with the Palm Beach that kept pushing it. And finally, when his chief would say, we're just going to let this die, he said, screw you. Went around him and went to the FBI. Because had he stopped when his boss told him to stop, it would have stopped in 2005. But he didn't. He went to the FBI and said, let's go after this dude.
That's a little crazy.
It's just, it breaks your heart that that if this is one thing that we know about, how many other Jeffrey Epsteins that exist in the world that we don't know about?
It's just like the last narc. It's a very similar situation.
One goes down, another comes up.
Cop trying to do his job, getting protected by the higher ups. No, look the other way. Look the other way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it goes on all around us, man.
This is way too heavy.
Jay really screwed us on this.
I've got deeper ones from the coming weeks. I'll send you down some rabbit holes.
I don't know. I think it's as far as I want to go with this.
I'll send you down some rabbit holes, boys.
I know. Joe and I are going with some lighthearted picks here pretty soon, right?
Well, I gave you Sugar Man, which was a nice, good, happy one. So I had to throw you a curveball with the dark one.
A nice spoonful of sugar, and then
I got some weird ones. I got some weird ones lined up. Documentaries are my thing, man.
I know, and I get it. Like I said, I couldn't binge this one, man, because it was like one at a time.
Yeah, you texted me right out the gate.
I was like, I can't do this binge. I can't binge this. There's no way.
About this.
I got a newborn sitting next to me. I got a 13-year-old daughter. Oh my God. And some of these girls were about the same age as my daughter when they start getting abused by this jerk. I mean, and then you got Ghislaine Maxwell, who is like his fixer, doing the same thing, like gaslighting these girls into getting them in. And it's just mind blowing. I don't know how people it was an open secret between so many people for so long.
So do you think, like, obviously they had him and then they had somebody had him killed off in jail, but now she's in jail. Do you think that more is going to come out now, or do you think that something's going to happen here with her? Yeah.
What I was going to say in the last segment that I was waiting for this to happen.
There's no way they can kill her off too, because that's just too
There's
much.
No way. There's no way.
That would just
be. There's no way.
Do you? I mean, I guess they could.
There's no. I mean, how many people has Putin poisoned in Russia? And every time he does it, I'm like, golly, are they going to let him keep doing this? He just did it again.
But
no one's going to stop him until you stop it.
It happened to him. I just think it would be too much to be over the top. It'd be pushing their luck. But maybe not. I mean, who pulls the strings? I don't know.
When he got arrested first, and he finally went down, and they got him in New York, wherever they went after him, they got his black book. Right. And someone before in this, I have not seen this since that day. It got posted on a forum somewhere, and it listed all the names and people's numbers, hotel rooms. Why would this guy need these individuals' hotel rooms?
That was his protection.
Yeah, man.
That was his protection.
And it goes back to what I said. You can sit here and be as red conservative as you want, but understand that there were conservatives on that list. You can sit here and be as
everybody
liberal as you want, and understand that there were liberal politicians on this list. It did not that he did not care about politics at all. All he wanted was money, control, and power, and he used these people for that.
Green's the only color.
So make no mistake. There was no difference between red and blue here. It was across the board. Doesn't matter what you think, and I don't care. You got to understand that if someone was involved in this guy, they were dirty. Bottom line, Republican, Democrat, they were dirty.
European,
and
European, yeah.
And again, this is my opinion, but this is why, as a moderate, that's why it's so hard for me to be a moderate. Because you look at both sides and you say,
the game's rigged all the way around.
What are we supposed to do here?
Yeah, game's rigged all the way around.
What are we supposed to do? I don't know. There's nothing we can do.
Joe is speechless.
Joe, well, we're kind of at the line where we don't want to start getting too political. But again, just what I want to get across to you, if you're listening to this man was involved with both conservatives, liberals, Republicans, Democrats, musicians, actors. It doesn't matter. He had them.
Princes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Somebody you probably really like on his list.
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
That is bottom line.
And that's the hard part of living in the time that we live in, is that there are people that you really like or have really liked who do really terrible things. And growing up, I'm a little bit older than you guys, but growing up, Bill Cosby was like, oh man, Bill Cosby.
He's
American's dad.
Yeah,
I love
legend.
Bill Cosby. There was a time Mel Gibson was he was just everybody loved Mel Gibson.
I know.
And now they're both pariahs.
Dude,
they're pariahs.
It's in it.
And it's tough. It's tough when things like that, when because ultimately what you see on the screen or what you see on TV is not necessarily what's going on behind closed doors.
No, radio, and I hate to use Radiohead.
Here we go. We're Radiohead.
Yeah,
we're
tied back to
this.
How far in are we? Who won the bet?
They started getting really big, especially after OK Computer, Tom York did an interview about how someone asked him, like, are you seeing this kind of response in the UK? He goes, no, we don't worship. In the UK, when someone gets famous, there's always this thing in the back of all of our minds that you had to cheat or do something wrong to get there. So they don't worship idols like famous people like we do here in the United States. I think that's the problem.
Wow.
Well, you can't look at the person and say, yeah, I love this band, but I'm not going to worship this person as an individual. You can love their art, but not love the person. You know what I mean? At least that's what I would like to be able to do.
Sometimes it's hard to separate.
It is hard to separate.
Sometimes it's completely hard to separate those things. You look at like Nazi Germany, and that Wagner is so tied with Nazi Germany. He wasn't alive when that was going on, but his family was around, and they, graciously said, "Here, Adolf Hitler, we love that you love Wagner's music," and it's difficult. You can appreciate Wagner as an artist, but yet he's so tied to a horrible period in history.
It's hard to separate it. That's a good example. It's very hard. And I think, 30, 40 years from now, when we look back at this time, I'm sure we're going to find out a lot more. It'd be like one of those things, I wish I knew then what I know now. Or maybe not,
Yeah.
It's tough. Not. Screw you, Jay. This one was hard. We're going to get to the closer on this dark side of the stream.
You're welcome, guys.
Filthy Rich on 104.7 The Cave.
I like the Mike has to take a deep breath before he turns
I don't
the mic
know what
on.
I want to say, dude.
Mike is so fired up. You get so fired up and passionate about stuff.
I get so pissed off, dude.
I know you do. I know you do.
I want to control what I can't control, and this is one of those things where it's like you want this stuff to be gone.
Well, you don't
want this to exist.
You can control your world.
I do
of it, and the example should be taken away from all this is A, just be a good person. And B, watch out for your loved ones around you. Keep an eye out. It's also like the Michael Jackson thing. Like how, if I was saying, guys, these young boys are sleeping over at my house, sleeping in my bed, I would think one of you guys would intervene and go, Jay,
you see
what
something,
are you doing?
You say something.
Yeah, but nobody did that with Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
He had a lot of money. He was able to
that's what we're saying. It comes back to money and yes men.
Yep. We discussed Filthy Rich,
Jeffrey Epstein, Dark Side of the Stream.
We are both, I'm assuming, agreeing that he did not kill himself, right?
Yeah. I don't think anybody with any type of rationale. I mean, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but come on, the cameras were off. Nobody was watching the cell. He was on suicide watch. They stuck him in a cell with a big known killer.
What are they? What's the agents from Israel? What do they call them?
Mossad.
Yeah, they say that he had ties with Mossad too, so that had a big deal with it as well.
Deep stuff, man.
If he's tied with any,
we'll see what happens with her. And we'll see what happens with. There's supposed to be tapes now. There's all kinds of stuff.
I'm sure they've got it.
Is she going to squeal? Is she not going to squeal?
Are we going to ever hear that? That's the point. Are we? Yeah. Is our journalists and news media going to do their job and bring this stuff to the forefront? Because when this documentary started, there was a woman for Vanity Fair that was told, hey, you need to go do an interview, a business piece on this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, we keep hearing about. She starts doing an investigation. In the mid-'90s, that was the first time any kind of, hey, wait a minute, this guy's doing some stuff going. So she does an investigative report about this, goes to her boss, and they say, nope, leave that out. You can't really prove it. We'll just do the business side. So she has to shelve it. And then they later said, well, they didn't have enough evidence and all this stuff.
Once again, if you
literally
see
had
something, say
the two
something.
sisters that had direct evidence that said, this is what happened to me, that could put him there, it would have been no different than a witness accusation. It's like, what more evidence do you want? Do you want the thing on film?
That's a tough place for media to be, because don't roll your eyes at me. Because you know that's a tough
litigation. I get it.
Yeah, and you're always afraid of that. You're, as a magazine or a newspaper or even what we do,
or afraid of getting fired. Right, afraid
afraid of saying something that's going to draw the ire of somebody. And especially if they know, like the editors of Vanity Fair, if they know up here that such and such over here that's head of our publication company is involved in this and they've told me to step on it, then I guess I've got to step on it. And if they don't do it, they're going to get fired and somebody else is going to, and it's just like.
So standing up for what you believe in that situation doesn't matter because someone else is going to come in line who doesn't care and will do it anyway.
And the story still gets squashed.
Yeah.
And then you're just a disillusioned employee.
Well, what happens now in this day, so you let's say that we were in one of us were the journalists and that happens and they tell us, hey, no, squash it. I'd go online, post a piece and try to get it out as much as I can. Right? Isn't that your job as a journalist? To get the news out, to get the truth out?
I mean, you can only do so much. You could only report it. What else can you do, really? You could report it to the authorities and hope that the ball continues to roll. But if the ball gets dropped, the ball gets dropped.
We need a pedophile beating Batman in this world right now. I don't know what he looks like, but he needs to exist.
He might look like you, Mike.
I ain't got the money, dude. If I could train myself to be Batman and go after these pedophiles, I'd do it all day. You'd never see me again. I don't know what I'd call myself, but I don't have the money or the gadgets.
Well,
but I do have the passion.
Somebody listening might want to sponsor that for you,
sponsor
Mike.
it. I'll go train with the martial art experts
instead of lunch with the hero with Mike.
Train with you.
What? Yeah, I could train with you. You could teach me.
Yeah, you come train with us. Yeah, there's some killers over there.
But I need some backing money for the gadgets in the car.
I'll help you out with that.
Okay. Well, maybe we could do that. I mean, honestly,
I'll be your Alfred.
I believe we're really lucky that we get to do what we do, and I tell my daughter all the time, my job is to bring light into this world, whether it's playing a record for someone, thanking a veteran, bringing someone lunch, whatever it is.
Try to put a smile on people's face.
That is my purpose.
Yeah.
That is our purpose.
Me too.
Exactly.
That's our purpose.
I try to put a smile on your face with all of my goofiness and glitter.
But I
try to do it with my love of music.
Yeah, same. But I would love to gain a purpose, and that is to squash this because I'm getting tired of it. I can say that, can I?
No. Yeah, sure.
We'll see. Bleep it.
No. You can.
All right, let's get off this.
Dark Side of the Stream. What are we watching next week?
Joe's turn next. Please,
what rabbit hole are we going down, Joe? Take us, Joe. Where are we going?
Let's have some lemonade or something this time.
The kid stays in the picture.
The kid stays in the picture.
Robert Evans story.
Okay.
And we've been talking a lot about pedophiles. I don't think there's any.
Is it a feel
Robert
good?
Evans may actually be on this guy's list at some point, but this is not a story about that. This is about how a guy rose. He had money, but it's how he rose up to become one of the top producers in all of Hollywood.
Okay. How old is this thing?
It was made about probably 10, 12 years ago. He's dead now. But it was based off his biography, and it's one of the
spoiler
first.
alert! You're supposed to say spoiler alert, Joe. I would not want to hear he died.
one of the first. They don't cover that in the documentary.
Okay,
but it's also one of the first documentaries to use rotoscope, which is this really neat layering technique that's done frequently now in documentaries. But it was the first one to actually do it.
Okay. So the kid stays in the picture.
Where
is your
it?
assignment.
Where do you find it?
You can find it on Amazon.
Okay, that's the assignment, guys.
And the other assignment you have in your life is if you see something, say something. Be the voice for those who do not have a voice, and that is what I want you to do as a human being, boys. We'll see you next week.